Hey guys, so I'm just about to go live with Briar, and so when she's ready to log in, I will get her on here. But if you guys have any questions for Briar, leave them in the comments below, okay? I'm excited too. So yes, if you guys have any questions for Briar, you guys can leave your comments below.
Hi.
Hi! How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Happy quarantine.
Happy quarantine. Oh my gosh. Isn't it
Girlfriend.
so crazy?
It's so crazy. I feel like we just did a photo shoot together, but that was literally over 2 months ago.
I can't even believe it. That was literally the last thing I've done, like outside of my house before quarantine. It was that photo shoot we did. And I remember you telling me, you're like, let's do it today because things are about to get crazy and we cannot wait longer. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it today. But like, I never really thought it was going to get this crazy. You knew. You were like, let's get it done.
Yes. Let's get this content out of the way, you know.
It was so smart. I would have never thought it would have gotten this bad this fast. So
Yes.
we did it literally the perfect day. If we waited a week longer, we would have been like completely not able to do it.
Everyone would have just been judging us because we're still shooting, you know?
I know.
How are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
Chilling at home, working,
Yes.
busy, but all's good. Everyone's healthy. So that's all
Yes.
that matters, right?
Isn't it crazy, like, how busy we're getting even while we're in quarantine?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's actually insane. I never really thought about it until it hit. And now that everything's kind of just happening, it's so busy. It's
Right.
crazy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to find ways to stay creative. I miss
Yeah.
being in the salon. I miss doing all my clients' hair. I miss doing your hair.
Oh gosh,
Um,
my hair's going a little
oh
crazy.
God, you need highlights, there, honey.
I know. Look, I'm going my natural.
Okay, I will take care of you after quarantine.
I need it. Trust me.
Right. But before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on live here with me.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
I know that there was a lot of people excited to like come and chat with you and I. So, you know.
Yeah, of course. Let's do it. I'm pumped.
Right. Okay, Briar. So I just have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
So I know that you started off like acting and dancing. So how did you get into it, and how did you get your break into the world of the industry?
Yeah, I think for me, I grew up obviously as a competitive gymnast at first because my parents are Olympic gymnasts. So I grew up in gymnastics till I was 7, and then I switched over to dance. When I got into dance, I've always had a very like competitive mindset, so I always was just training hard. I guess at a young age, at like 7 or 8, I was never really thinking about the future too far. I was just like such like in a bubble of just training hard and going to school. And then I think when I hit 13 years old, the next step auditions kind of started happening. Again, it came through my studio and I wasn't so into the whole acting thing yet. So I was kind of just like getting introduced to it, still training super hard in dance. And then once I really got going with that experience and I got onto the show, started doing seasons, I really realized what this industry had to offer outside of just school and dance, basically what my everyday life was. And then I started, getting an agent and going through more of those TV shows and still dancing and training hard, but kind of started to think about what maybe I wanted to do and what direction I wanted to go in this industry instead of just, training for like who knows what. So I think the next step was definitely like my first, obviously I did a few commercials and stuff beforehand, but the next step was, I would say, my first for sure like acting big show that I did. And I think that kind of introduced me to the industry in a way that I was like, okay, you can dance and you can act and you can sing and you can do everything in one,
Totally.
And not
And
just
how old were you when you started off?
I was 13 when I got the next step, I believe. Or I started filming around 13, so I could have been 12, but I would say around 13.
That's so crazy.
Right? So long ago. Feels like forever.
And so how was that process like being on the next step? And you know, I know that I can't remember how many seasons you guys have out right now,
We have
but
7.
oh
I was
damn.
in 6 though, so I wasn't in the first season. I came on second season.
Okay.
But yeah, it's such an unbelievable show. Like I love it. Obviously, it's so fun for me to do. It's when we do film it, we're all like a family, and so to be able to film together, and then also have everyone behind the scenes, like the writers and the directors, and we're all so close because there's been so many seasons. So we all
Right.
just have a blast together, and then when we start to tour together, we're just
Right.
like brothers and sisters. Honestly,
Right.
we've become a family out of it. But then also we're so grateful for all the fans that we've kind of had along the way that have supported us and supported the show, and that's
Right.
why it keeps going, right? Because people
Yes.
hopefully enjoy it. So we love kind of putting on that show for people.
Exactly. And I'm sure people are going to be wondering, so how did you get into getting an audition for like World of Dance?
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it kind of varies. Like for the next step, it was through my studio because our casting director, Amy, she wanted, obviously strong dancers since it was a dance-based show. So she gave auditions out to studios. And so that one just came through my studio. I didn't have an agent at that point.
Right.
I got an agent after that show, but World of Dance was more, I guess, of a different situation just because I knew I wanted to do a reality show, whether it was when I was younger, it was So You Think You Can Dance because that was really the only dance show out, and it was like,
Right.
one that was just huge. When
Right.
World of Dance came out, I knew that it was the right fit for me. So I actually got found, I guess, through YouTube. So they reached out to me. So that one
Oh,
I actually
crazy.
didn't actually submit myself for, where usually obviously your agent and whatnot are submitting you. So
Right.
that one was a little bit different, but I still had to go in and audition in person so they could make sure obviously I was still doing what they saw and what they wanted.
Right.
So I flew to New York, went in, did the live auditions for, I guess, the producers and directors. And then from there, once I made it to the show, then, all
Right.
the rest was basically taped. But
Right.
real audition wise, yeah, like Francie, my agent, would submit me, and then from there I would audition. But World of Dance was a little different just because it was a reality show. And I guess
Right.
they were just looking through dancers and just happened to come across me.
Right. And you guys filmed that in LA?
Yeah, that was LA.
Okay, so castings happen in New York, filming in LA.
Yeah, I mean, there's castings all over the states. They have probably about 5 cities and states that they audition within the states. So,
Right.
I mean, I could have gone to LA, I could have gone to Atlanta, but New York was closest to me. It's like literally a 30-minute flight, and I love New York, so to be able to just go there for 3 days, audition, and then fly home was just very convenient. So,
Right.
yeah.
And so how was that experience being on the show World of Dance? Because obviously that's a lot different than being on the next step, right?
Oh, so different. So different. Yeah, when you're used to being like a scripted actor, having like
Dialogue.
action. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, but basically, you're being taped every second that you're on set. It's just a different, I mean, it's the same, but it's different. Like you have that feel, of course, of being on stage and having the cameras in front of you at all times, which you do get when you're, say, filming the next step or another show like that. But the process is a lot different because it's not scripted. So it's literally, like I was saying, they basically film you 24/7, and you're just getting ready to perform, and they're filming you getting ready and doing your rehearsals, getting feedback, meeting the judges, reactions, all that crazy type of stuff.
Right.
But it was an incredible show. If I could relive it, like I totally would. It was so fun to be able to dance on that stage. And on top of it, you get to meet so many people from around the world.
Yes.
And I think to be able to see everyone's different styles that they're focused on and that they trained their whole life for, and some styles that I have never seen before, but they all just come together and you get to see them, and it's really inspiring because I would say it's a very motivating show. You always meet such like well-rounded, respectful dancers, and I think that's one of my favorite parts about being on the show was there was no negativity, there was never jealousy. Everyone was super supportive. They were training hard. Obviously, it's a competition. They were doing what they had to do, but within that, everyone was like super sweet and just super helpful. So I think that also made the experience so much better.
What was your favorite choreography that you did to date for that show?
I think I love
There's
Ashes.
so many good ones.
I know. I think they all just have like a special place for me, like in different ways. Like the first one was like the first time I stepped on stage since my epilepsy, so it was just like the first time I kind of got that rush again, being a dancer. But then, Come Fly With Me I did with a broken hand, so I was just proud of myself for like getting through it, and obviously the story behind it was really special to me. Redemption was just like a crazy, like I couldn't even think in the moment. I was just going. But I would say if I had to pick my favorite, I loved Ashes. I really connected to that one on a level that I never really saw myself get there in a performance side. I think you're always, or for me, I'm always thinking about like the technique side of things, making sure like I'm on point you know, 24/7 for the judges technically. But I think to really show the emotional side of it, you deeply have to connect. And for me, that's always been the hardest part because I've been so on the technical side of things. But that time on stage for some reason just like came out perfect. Like I just mentally was able to connect there and was super proud of that. So I would say Ashes and the box dance is really fun. That one was more just like my style.
Was that the Britney Spears one?
Yeah, the one on the box. Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah, that was just fun. Like I just had like a blast doing it. I love that kind of style, and so that one was definitely one of my faves for sure.
That's amazing. And so obviously you being on the show of World of Dance,
Mm-hmm.
you had the opportunity to work with J-Lo. And so how was that experience? You know, because I had only a little bit of taste doing your hair backstage the show, but I can only imagine you touring with her. So like, how was that experience? How was that like, even just getting the phone call being like, hey, Briar, are you available to like, you know, come on the road with me, you know?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And to be honest, it happened really fast. Like our season of World of Dance was airing, I think the finale was around this time last year. So around this time last year, I was finding out that I was going to go on tour with her. So it was near the end of when the season was ending. And I remember her team was calling my management, just asking if, you know, I'd be interested. I remember I was in Jamaica with my family on a vacation, and there were so many messages going back and forth. So I was like trying to keep up to all of them. Right. Obviously, when I first heard that it was even an option, I was like so excited. I was like out of this world pumped. I was like, oh my gosh, this would be crazy. But I didn't want to get my hopes up until it actually came to fruition. So once we actually signed the contract and everything, you know, came to fruition, it was like 2 weeks and I was off. So it happened so fast. I was prepping all of my solos. I had to have 3 solos for the opening. So me and Mitch, one of my friends, we were choreographing so fast. I was getting Effie, who makes my costumes, to do them so fast. Everyone was working like so fast because I literally had a week before I had to leave to LA and I was gone the whole summer basically. So literally it was happening in like the split of a second. And then when I got to LA, it was, I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect. Obviously I was a soloist, so I didn't know any of her dancers. I knew her, but I knew she wouldn't be around all the time. You know, there's obviously rehearsals where it's mainly just the dancers. And I knew of the lab, you know, the other acts that were in Swing Latino, the ones that were opening with me, but never met them before. So again, I was kind of going into it just thinking, you know, just be independent, just do your thing, just stay out of people's way and, you know, just kind of go with the flow. But when I got there, it was so fun. Like you just slowly started, like I started interacting with all the dancers, got super close to the lab and Swing Latino. And then by the time we started touring, we were just like, again, like one big family, and it was just like a blast. Like I would totally do that tour again in a heartbeat. It was probably like the highlight of my career so far, to be able to open for her every night with that many people, but then to also be able to tour the world with her and so many incredible dancers, I think was really inspiring, especially to see kind of her lifestyle on tour, and it was really motivating and inspiring for me to watch her every night and learn from her different ways.
And so was Jen involved with like kind of like giving you ideas of what to do for the show, or was it just kind of like do your thing?
Yeah, so there's this couple called Nappy Tabs, and so they were creative directors of her show. So she has the ideas and she, you know, makes sure they happen, but there's people like right behind her that do like the stuff in between and make sure that, you know, everything is happening the way she wants it to. And so, and they're also dancers, they were choreographers. So they helped me more so with the opening act of things. So they would run us every day before she got there for our opening act. They would make sure that our staging worked. They would approve our solos. Obviously she would at the end, but before she even saw them, would go through them. When it came to the actual show, like when I did Gravity with her and Limitless, that was all with her. Like we were choreographing it while she was, you know, on stage, making sure it looked right. So that was very interactive. The opening act wasn't as, because, you know, she was focused on her show, but as soon as everything came into play with her show, every dance that I was in with that was super, you know, basically all her. She had people helping her, but she was the boss girl, so she was telling what she wanted.
Do you have any memorable moments from the from being on tour with her?
I think one of my favorite ones was before we started Gravity, which was the one in the red dress. Was
that the one I did your hair change?
Yeah, it was down and curly for that. Yeah, it was down. Yeah, so we ran backstage, and she was obviously like running, having like everyone, her whole team around her, like fixing her hair, her makeup, changing her. And it was like under the stage because we rose up on that platform.
Right.
And we were just sitting there for like, we had like 3 minutes every time before we went up on stage. So it was just a really special moment because we would just like chat. No, we wouldn't have like catch up right before we go on stage. But, you know, just like making sure that we were all good.
You good? You good?
Yeah, like good, like making sure she's okay. it was just kind of a special moment between us that we had like right before we went up on stage. And then when I did that dance with her with the scarf, and it was just her and I on stage, I think between that dance and that moment before, that was probably like the moment that I definitely cherish.
That's so beautiful, just to be able to like connect with her without anyone else. Those moments, seconds before going on stage together.
It was like, so inspiring.
Like, wow.
Yeah, so I think that was definitely one of the memorable moments with her, for sure.
That's so beautiful. And I wanted to ask, so I know that you do battle with epilepsy. So how do you, I guess when you were on stage, is there different techniques of things that you do to kind of, or like just like routines that you do to kind of prep yourself so there's no like flare-ups, or I don't know what your process is?
Yeah. So
I'd just be really curious to know.
Yeah. So my seizures aren't caused by lights or anything. They were caused by learning choreo. So when I would be like learning combinations, like the mind-body connection between like remembering a long combination of like a minute, for some reason there was like some mix up and I just would go into a seizure. So mine weren't actually, usually they are controlled by lights and, you know, by anxiety and that stuff. Mine was more so, it was only in dance studios that they would happen, and it was only when I learned choreo. So on stage, I never really had any flares, especially because they were dancers that I really, really knew well, especially by the middle of the tour. So I wasn't thinking about it. I was more so enjoying it by that point. And I'm on medication, so I haven't had any since I've been on that. So obviously, like during World of Dance, I was on the medication. So I just wanted to like take my time. And if there was ever a moment where I felt a little off, then, you know, I would kind of, you know, come on and I'll just, you know, figure it out and whatever I had to do. But there was never a moment where I felt that. So that's been good since I've been put on meds. But from there, I just have to make sure, you know, I'm eating right and I don't over stress. I just enjoy it. And I think reminding myself like what I'm doing and where I am and that I'm okay and I'm on medicine, like that kind of just makes me feel better. And especially because I knew the dances, and when I don't know them, that's more so my trigger. So I'd be more stressed if I was learning a dance on stage in front of people than just performing a dance that I already kind of went through that process of learning. So I never really had any on stage, anything like that. Yeah, which is great, luckily.
If you have any advice to give to anyone who looks up to you and who wants to kind of get into the industry, whether that be acting, dancing, maybe being a threat like yourself, is there any kind of advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you have to love what you do. I think it's so hard to get somewhere if you don't truly have a passion for it. I mean, people ask me every day, like, how do you stay motivated to work out every day and eat well and take care of your body? And it's a lifestyle at heart. At first, even for eating, for me, I love sugar. I was like, how much? Like, I just want to, I don't know, I want chips at night, I want a cupcake. But I think when you really remind yourself of like why you do what you do and why you love it, and on top of that, your goals as to what you want to achieve and what you need to do and what you need to be to get there. If you love it that much and you really want to get there, I think you have to sacrifice like who you are right now for what you want to become later on. And so I think that's always stuck in my head. And, you know, I set goals for a week from now and then a year from now and then like long-term goals. And I think waking up and always having those in my head, and since I have such a passion for it on top of that, kind of just drives me to stay motivated. So I would say definitely go towards something that you just wake up and just dream of doing, and then just do anything you can to kind of reach towards that goal. Honestly, I think passion is one of the biggest things, because if you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to be motivated to want to, you know, eat well. You're not going to be as motivated to go into an extra dance class or take that extra live class. You know, you really have to have that self-motivation, especially in quarantine even more. You have to wake up, find a place, make it happen in your house. And if you want it that bad, then you will. So I would just say, you know, everything also happens for a reason. And when I was growing up, I never really thought about acting and singing when I was like hardcore in dance when I was like 7 or 8 or 9. But, you know, I think as the next step came about, then that, you know, started inspiring me on the acting industry. And, you know, I always like obviously dance is like, out of all three, it's the one I've been passionate about for the longest period of time and that I've really been driven towards. Now, obviously, acting and singing I love just as most. But again, you have to have a passion for it. If, you know, you're not willing to put enough time for dance, acting, and singing in your day, then maybe just focus on the one that, you know, you really want to drive towards, because you have to give all of them an even amount of time if you want to be, you know, successful in all three. If you give one more than the other, then you may go more towards that specific one that you're focusing on. But if you want to be a triple threat, you have to give the time of day to all of them.
Yes.
Which can get difficult, but again, if you love it, then you're happy to do it every day.
Exactly. And I know, like, last time I saw you, you were about to move to LA.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I was till this happened.
Right. So let's say like, let's say this quarantine didn't happen.
Yeah.
You would have been in LA. Do you like how I'm like speaking like, you know?
I love it.
In
I love
fantasy
it.
world. So like, let's say you were living in LA and you were going for castings, you met with your agent. What would you be wanting to do? Would you want to focus more so on dance? Would you want to focus more on acting?
Yeah, so I mean, it's actually great because quarantine's kind of like had me sit down and kind of pinpoint where and what direction I want to go in each of those sides of the industry. Yeah. Specifically with dance, I obviously, like I said, I don't know what I would do without it, but there gets to a point where I'm so grateful to have open for Jen, and so I have to kind of think of that next goal that I want to do with dance without, you know, staying on the same plan, because I always love improving myself, whether it's, you know, a little bit or a lot. So for me, I always want to keep training and dancing, but more in the acting side of things, I want to do action films. So I want to be able to include my athleticism and dance in my acting. So in a perfect world, if I could do my own fight scenes, stunts, you know, if there's a dance character, obviously dance, but then also include my acting in it. So if I can include all of that in one, that would be my ideal thing. You know, I do the kickboxing, the boxing. So if I could do all of that, include my athleticism with my acting in action films and roles, that would be ideal to kind of keep my dancing athletic side, you know, present, but then also focus on my love for acting. But also I love, you know, taking classes, and I'll always teach when I can, and I'll always perform when I can in that way. But I also love singing too. And so Miles is a producer, obviously, and my family's been quarantined with him. And so he has a recording studio, and I'm able to kind of, during this time, take this time to kind of experiment more with my voice, since it's it's not the one that I've been the most focused on, I would say, in the last few years. Dancing and acting have definitely been my front runners in this focus, but I love singing just as much, and I just haven't given it that amount of time that I give my dancing and singing. So during this quarantine, I'm really making sure that I'm giving it that time, because I know I want to pursue it. It's just one of those things that you have to give the amount of time that I gave to dance, and it's a lot of time. So you really have to be committed to it. In a perfect world, I would put out music that I could dance to, and then I love the live performance aspect always, and like the goal would be to do live performances with my own music, but also giving my flips and my dancing and what I love. So if I can include like everything in one, really, realistically, that would be kind of my goal, because you never know how long you're gonna be able to dance for. So I don't want to give it, want to give it up.
Right. Oh, I can't wait to hear you sing, honey. You know?
Oh gosh, I'm working on it.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so I wanted to bring it back to some beauty stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, so like, what is Briar doing during this quarantine with like her skin, her hair? Like, what is she doing? Because we want to know, because she's glowing on this iPhone right now. So
honestly, I've been taking this time to really focus on my skincare and my hair as much as I can. I mean, obviously I can't color it and stuff, but
it's growing so much.
I know it's growing, which is great, because I'm not doing much to it, right? I'm not straightening it often. I'm not curling it every day. So it's really had a nice break. If anything, I'm just gelling it back in a bun, because there's something about working out with hair on my face when it gets stuck in my mouth. I'm like, so I just like glue it back. But skincare wise, I've just taken this time to get new products and just try a bunch, and it's been great. Like eye masks, face masks. So I got the Milk Makeup cooling eye. They're so nice. They're so, in the morning, they're so refreshing. They're like actually so cooling, and they don't like slip down, which I hate sometimes, because they like end up on my bottom of my face. So they're actually great. I've been using the what's the mask? It's called like Sundays, Fridays, I don't know. It's some sort of mask though. It's gray. It's like a cream mask. They say it's for jet lag, so like after you on a plane for a long time and you just want like a refreshing kind of glowing, hydrating mask. But I thought I would just try it anyways. And then I really love Drunk Elephant, that brand for skincare. So I use their like it's not a makeup remover, but it's almost like a cleanser, but like a jelly almost. You can add like exfoliants to it. Anyways, it's great. It's just like a nice morning and night kind of easy chill, not too like intense cleansing balm, and then I'll use a toner, and then I use the Drunk Elephant like oil, like serum, which is like my favorite thing of all time. It's so hydrating. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then I use like a cream, and so I have like my little kind of package of stuff, which usually on a regular day I'm so quick to do it because I just throw it on, throw makeup on, and then leave. So I've actually taken the time to like do more face masks when I can. You know, make sure I'm getting the full, you know, skin routine in day and night. And then for hair, honestly, I wash it every like few days. I've been leaving it natural, so sometimes I'll just like I have my Dyson and I'll like blow it out like a little curly, and I'll just put mousse in it.
Which I saw you post your wavy hair. I was like, oh, is that real? And you're like, yeah, that's air dried.
I don't do it often because like if I were to let my hair naturally dry overnight, it would be a little bit more curly than this, but it wouldn't be that curly. I have to use the Dyson diffuser to really like give it and put mousse in it to like really give it that curl. But yeah, it does go there and it'll stay for sure. But I've tried to been using less heat, so like I'll wash it and let it dry overnight. If I want, you know, an easy natural thing, then I'll do the diffuser because it's super fast. And the odd time I'll straighten it. I don't even think I've curled it once through this whole quarantine. But usually when I'm working out, I'll just glue it back into like a middle part low bun. And it's just been nice. It's been nice to kind of just let it grow and not, you know, do anything too crazy with it, not give it too much heat. So yeah.
Also, because I know that it's very important, like what you're putting into your body, right?
Yes.
So because like I know like if you're eating more healthier and cleaner, your hair and your skin is also it'll
affected,
show, right?
Yeah.
So do you have any suggestions of like things to consume? Because obviously, you know, that's going to reflect onto your skin.
For sure. Yeah. I think honestly, nutrition is probably the biggest thing that I've been focusing on during quarantine. Obviously skincare and stuff too, but nutrition for sure, since I have the time to be at home and to cook new meals and to really see what my body feels once I eat certain things and what it doesn't like. So I've really been listening to my body, I would say, over these last few months. And nutrition, I realized I've always been told that, you know, you are what you eat, and your nutrition is the biggest part of being an athlete because you're fueling your body. And I've always understood that, but I think now in these last few months, am I really starting to see that and to see, you know, different results from different things. For me, I'm trying to do less gluten because I find that I start to get a little bit swollen when I eat too much gluten, just like inflamed, which I think is natural for people, you know, if you have a lot of it. So I'm trying to do less gluten, and I'll have, you know, not as many carbs. I'll have a carb in my breakfast and in my lunch, but again, you're not supposed to digest too many carbs before you go to bed because, you know, your body's obviously just sitting there. It's not really moving as fast as you can. So I've always been told by my sports nutritionist to eat, if you're going to have good carbs, have them for breakfast and in the afternoon, and try not to have too many of them before you go to bed. So a lot of protein, obviously, as an athlete is super important. A lot of veggies. I have, with my epilepsy, I have to take MCT oil and powder, just, you know, to keep everything neurologically running smooth and just extra strong. I have like a greens protein powder. I'll have a smoothie every morning. And then just good fats, like avocados, eggs, just making sure I have a good balance of everything. And then I take biotin, which I asked you about because I was like, what's something that can help my hair grow? And obviously I can't do my nails, my hair, nothing. So I just literally have this, it's from Nature's Emporium. It's a biotin basically. So it's just like a liquid, and I just mix it in with my orange juice. And so in the middle of the day when I want some vitamin C, I just like take it, and I can't even taste it, but it's, when I went there, I was like, so which is the best biotin? And there were so many options, and I was like, what do you guys suggest? So I took
and
that.
Do you notice there's a huge improvement taking biotin?
I think so. I mean, I've only been on it. I mean, I think I asked you maybe a few weeks ago, was it? Maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So I'm starting to, but then again, I feel like I want to give it a good solid few months to see. But I mean, definitely, like, I mean, my hair's been growing, so it might be from that. I mean, I feel like I have seen improvements, but nothing too dramatic yet. But then again, I think you always have to give stuff time. So I'm just kind of taking it consistently in.
We'll Briar, I have one more question for you before we answer some questions here, and then we go. So I've been doing your hair for over a year now.
Yes.
Out of all of the hairstyles and looks that we've done to date, which one would be your favorite?
I think the braid.
Yes.
I loved that one. Even though it was hard to dance in, I freaking loved it. It was so good. It was so good. I literally was in love with it. It was so long, and I was just like, I felt like Rapunzel. I had this long braid in the front, like all the way to my hips. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
And so
But there's
powerful.
so many. That one just sticks out in my mind.
Right.
But also my birthday hair was really nice because we just put those
Oh
clip-ins
my
in, and it was
gosh,
just
I
super
love
wavy
that.
and soft. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy like the braid, but it was
Yeah.
just super beachy, very like vibey.
Yeah.
I don't know, I really like that one too. So between my birthday and the braid, I think
Yes.
those two would probably have to be
Yes.
at the top for sure.
I would say my favorite look that I've done on you would be for sure the braid.
Yeah,
Which I will be posting that probably later for you guys to see.
it's so good.
So yeah, the braid, and then I do like the Tiff red carpet one.
Yeah, the long straight hair.
The really long one. The only thing is, it's really hard to do anything with that length.
I was like, oh, I got so much hair today. I loved it though. That one was a really good one too.
Right? It was really good, but like just like practicality it didn't make sense. So that's why I like your birthday hair, because it was long enough.
For me, especially because I'm tiny, right? So sometimes when things are too long, you can really tell because of how I'm proportioned. I just have a short torso, and like, you know what I mean? I'm petite. So when really, really long things, they look longer on me as if, you know, a model would have really long hair. You know what I mean? It's just different. But I still loved it for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Right? So birthday hair it is, honey.
Yes.
Your 21st birthday.
I loved it.
That's so crazy.
I know. Back to when we could get together.
Right?
So
let's
crazy.
answer a few questions here, Briar, and then wrap the live.
Let's do it.
So I'll let you pick.
Oh, me? Okay.
Or actually, here, let me ask you. It's easier. I'm the one who's like interviewing you. Let's go. Okay. Will you be uploading your YouTube video?
Yes.
Or uploading on YouTube, sorry.
Uploading, okay. I was like, which video? Yeah, I will. I know I got pretty heavy into YouTube at the beginning of the year, and then I've been posting here and there, but once a week gets a little busy because of so much that's been happening. But I definitely do want to get more into my YouTube, and I have so much content to be able to put together. So yeah, definitely soon for sure.
Okay. Let's look here again. What's your favorite part of playing Rachel on set, and do you relate to her character?
Yeah, she's super fun to play. Completely different from me, I would say. Like very, I mean, she's determined, which I guess I can definitely relate to myself. But definitely more like, what's the word? She doesn't have balance between like friendships and dance. It's very like dance only, one lane, one street. Can sometimes be rude, but like I don't think it's intentional. She's just so, literally her one goal in life is to be the best dancer, and that's it. And I believe in balance, so like me personally, that's not how I necessarily think of it, but it's fun to play because it gives me the excuse to be sassy and to have attitude when, you know, Rochelle has to have that. And so I guess it kind of has its ups and downs. It's definitely just a really over-exaggerated character of myself, because definitely I don't have the same personality as her, but you know, our motivations are similar for sure. Right.
And someone also asked, what type of choreography do you love?
I love, like, if I can mix jazz, contemporary, and like acro together, I would say that would probably be my favorite style.
Yes.
I also love every style. I love hip hop and all that good stuff. But if I was to ask to perform, I would probably automatically go towards jazz mixed with acro. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you kill hip hop.
Oh gosh. It's so fun to do. I just like, you know, it's one of those things that it's just not my like specific style I focus on, but I do focus on it, if that makes sense.
Right. And then I also saw that you posted on your stories a couple days ago that you were asking your followers if they would like to see more, almost like Q&A in regards to doing like going lives with other experts in their industry.
Oh yes.
So are you planning on doing more of that kind of stuff on your stories?
Yeah. So actually, I'm like after this live, I'm posting it. So registration is going to be open literally in like an hour. So what I'm doing is I'm doing an hour and 45-minute Zoom class. Yeah. So the hour and 15 minutes will be like a hardcore strength conditioning, flexibility, and technique program. But I've kind of opened it up to all athletes, so it doesn't necessarily just have to be dancers. Really anyone that wants to work on strength, but also keep their flexibility for whichever sport you know, or industry that they're in. And the last 30 minutes, I'm going to bring on like a new expert in their side of expertise in this industry to kind of have a Q&A with everyone that's in the Zoom, so they can ask questions, whether it's about nutrition, about hair, about makeup, about, you know, their body, from chiros and physios. So everyone in the athletic industry will have, you know, the chance to either just have an open discussion and hear thoughts, or ask their questions at the end of my class. So it'll kind of just be a workout, and then kind of a sit down, cool off, listen, and hopefully motivate and get inspired by all these different people. So we'll definitely have you on one week.
Yes, bring me
on. For sure. 100%.
I am the doctor of hair, Briar.
Yes, I know. And I think so many people, like some people are like, well, what are you going to talk, like, are you going to do hair? And I'm like, but there's so much more to it. Like, you can talk about how to, you know, properly treat your hair. If, you know, if you have this, this, and this, and, you know, they can have questions about their specific hair that you obviously will have answers to, and just your side of the industry. So I think it's really important to just showcase not only like what goes on behind the scenes, but also to open it up to other professional industries, because people are like, well, how do you make it in this industry? And it's not just a one-way street of, you know, doing what you're good at. You know, you have everyone behind the scenes, from hairstylists to makeup artists to casting. Yeah, there's so much included in it. And I think it's so important for everyone to really, if they want to be professionals, understand and start to be inspired and motivated by those people that are behind the scenes, and see other aspects rather than just being the artist. You get to see the other sides of the industry, which I think is important. I will, of course. Oh my goodness. Totally. Right? I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Okay, Briar, well, thank you so much for taking time this afternoon to chat with us.
You're welcome. Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. I miss you.
Miss you too. I hope to see you soon rather than later. Hopefully, you know, this whole pandemic kind of calms down a little bit, so then we can actually at least have gatherings of smaller gatherings.
I know. It's so crazy how long it's going. I actually can't believe it. It's like, it's becoming a new normal, but it's insane to think back to what life was before this, and now what it
like it's almost like what a luxury it was.
It's crazy. I think it's literally the world telling us that we needed to reset, stop, and now like everyone's kind of getting back into their groove, figuring out, you know, a plan of attack, and then hopefully, I know it's going to take a while for things to go back to normal, but hopefully, you know, we get there eventually.
Right. Well, I hope to see you soon, and you stay safe. Keep me posted on the Zoom.
I will.
Stuff. So
totally.
We'll talk soon, okay, Briar? Thank you so much.
Miss you. I'll see you soon.
You too. Okay,
bye,
sounds
Raj.
good. Bye. Bye.